Hello there and welcome to this educational video series entitled Uncover the Proven Strategies Used by the Wealthy. My name is Dan Tatuli. I'll be your host today, and I'd like to introduce to you personal wealth coach Kevin Neuber. Now, just to talk a little bit about him, for the last 10 years, Kevin has coached over 3,000 financial professionals on how to implement proven wealth strategies. He's developed close to 2,500 strategies for individuals and families with a focus on increasing their personal wealth. And over $100.3 million have been put into those accounts. So Kevin, thank you very much for coming today.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
So let's just start this off. Why are we here today?
So I want to start this off with a little bit of a personal story with an experience that I had. Back in 2008, and this kind of just sets up what this really means to me and having this video series, is in 2008 my parents, they were approximately 55 years old apiece, right around there. And things were really, really good in 2008. You know, the market was doing really well. They were making a lot of money. And they had accumulated approximately about $1 million in their savings accounts and their various savings accounts that they have. And at that time, they had decided that they were prepared to retire because they had $1 million. $1 million is a lot of money. If you think, if you think about it, all of us would love to have that amount of money. But the problem was that they made about $100,000, $120,000 per year. And the way that they looked at it is with some of the other fixed income that they had and the investment account that they had with $1 million, that they thought that they could retire at age 55 and live comfortably for the rest of their life. If they just simply earned an 8% return on their money, they could just take $80,000 a year and live comfortably for the rest of their life. And when they told me this plan of the retirement, it kind of, all of a sudden it kind of clicked inside my head. That here I am in the financial services business where I coach advisors and clients about how and when they can retire and what to do with their money. Yet I hadn't actually taken the time to spend with my parents and have a conversation with them and coach them about how money works and what they can do to prepare for retirement and to give them advice about when they actually are ready to retire. You know, it dawned on me at that point that, you know, what the kind of stuff that we talk about and the advice that we give is really, really important. So really what the purpose of this video series is, in my view, is that when people go out there to try to get investment advice, there's so much information out there. It can be really confusing. There's millions of different types of investments that people can choose from. So I'm sure that there's millions of people out there that are like my parents and that they really don't know the truth about how money works, the type of investments they can choose, and when they're going to be financially prepared to retire. So the purpose of this video series really is to go over some of the basics about money, uncover some of the myths that are out there about how money works, and give people some clear, concise advice so that they can feel confident that when they have made the decision that they're going to retire, that they're going to live comfortably through retirement.
Me personally, just to let everybody know out there, I want to be your voice. I want to be asking those good questions to really, we're in a very unique financial situation right now. Strategies that have been used in the past for your parents or maybe your grandparents out there aren't really necessarily holding up in today's environment. So that's why I'm here too. I'm going to be learning much like everybody else there at home. So where do we start, Kevin?
Let's start off just talking a little bit about how people get information on the kind of places that they're going to choose to save their money. For the average person that's accumulated some sort of wealth, for example, I'm sure you have some money and at some point you've made a decision to go out there and put it somewhere in some sort of product or investment. When you made that decision, how did you go about finding information about what you were going to buy? What did you do?
Typically, the first place for me, and I'm sure a lot of people at home, I would go on the internet.
So now today, for younger people, they're going to go to the internet for information, but there could be other sources of media that they can go to. They can go to TV. They can see something on as a commercial. They can read the newspaper,
the Wall Street radio.
Yeah, the radio. Pretty much everywhere you go with the baby boomer generation entering retirement, you're going to get bombarded. People are going to be bombarded with information about financial planning. And the truth is that there's so much misinformation out there about what's proper or what's right and what's not right that it's hard to weed through everything to figure out what's right. Let me give you some examples. Let's say you turn on the radio and you hear a talking head or a famous radio person or TV person that might be giving financial advice. And that person might also be an author for a book, right? Mm-hmm. Then if that person was trying to target the most amount of people as possible so they can sell the most amount of books and have their TV ratings as high as possible and get the most number of impressions on the advertisements that they were running, would they be trying to cast a wide net and cover a large group of people or a very, very small group of people?
I would say a large net. They want to get the most bang for their buck, I guess.
Yeah, they want to target a majority of people. Mm-hmm. So the question really becomes is, what is a majority of people? And the truth is that a majority of people might have a different type of demographic than you. They might make a different amount of income than you. They might have different needs than you do. And so the truth is that perhaps you and perhaps the people watching this video might not be that target demographic for the type of investment advice that those people are giving. And in fact, it could be that the amount of money that you have or the amount of income that you make is actually quite uncommon. Huh. So if the amount of money you have and the amount of money you make is uncommon, then what I would challenge you to consider is that you need to seek uncommon financial advice or uncommon strategies rather than following the common advice that you might be experiencing.
And that's actually the first thing that we wanted to get into, is just to talk about where we are, the listeners at home, where I am positioned. Are we in that general population, or are we in the upper half?
I just want to really just challenge anybody who's watching these videos to spend the time to get through the video series. There's going to be some really important information that's going to be contained in these videos. And really what our goal is to give you some clear, concise advice so that you can retire with confidence so that you don't outlive your money. And there's going to be some times where we're going to be talking about information that might not be common to you. And so it's information that's going to fit outside of the box of things that you normally know or think you know. So what I'm asking everybody who's watching these videos is, instead of just discarding that information that we're providing you, perhaps you should get a bigger box and take into consideration these important facts that we're telling you so that you can have confidence in your retirement. Ready to go?